Hi Flosstube, I'm Lori and welcome to Once Upon a Stitch. Today is Saturday, January 2nd. Happy New Year. I hope 2021 will be a happy and healthy new year for you all. I know everybody was anticipating the end of 2020, but the way I feel about it is I want to remember it because too many lives were lost. And I don't want to forget, even though I didn't know them personally, I don't want to forget those people who have lost their lives because of COVID. And it's just my thing. And yes, I'm happy to be into 2021. I do hope that things will be better by summer with the vaccine being out. And that's all I'm going to say on that topic because we're here for a video on cross stitch. Thank you so much for subscribing to me and coming back all the time I make a video and watching and commenting. And I just want to give you a little update of what's been happening since the last time we were together. Christmas Eve, Sal and I were in bed, and about 2:30 in the morning, the ground shook. We heard this big bang and the ground shook, and a storm was going through during the night with high winds, like up to 60 miles an hour, they said. And long story short, a tree in the park, which is on the other side of our fence, fell. But it fell on my neighbor's side. It fell diagonally across onto our gate and fence. It hit the house. So because it was raining, it was dark, and we couldn't really see too much in the middle of the night. We waited till morning to see what possible damage was. And basically, we were very lucky that the house that we could see, the roof was fine, the siding was fine. It landed mostly on the fence and the gate section and some bushes. And it's funny, I sent some pictures out to some family and friends, and they said, but his fig tree is still standing. It survived. We had one fig tree right in the corner, and sure enough, it spared the fig tree. So he was very happy about that. But an adjuster's coming over, I think next Friday, and to give us an estimate of what that's going to entail. I also heard, these are just little snippets of information that I want to share with you. I heard from Marilyn, who won the Shakespeare's Peddler basket of red, white, and blue, and it's in an envelope, and it's being mailed out, God willing, on Monday. I went to the dermatologist for a body check, and I was telling her that my back is always so itchy, and I try to put some hand cream on the tips of my finger, and I try to this and that, and she gave me a terrific tip that I want to share with you. A rubber spatula. She said that if you put some lotion on the rubber spatula and you use it to put it on your back and just, keep it in the bathroom, it washes clean. There's no bacteria. It should, she said it was fine. So I thought I'd share that tip with you. And then this morning, since James and Amy bought the house, Sal's been going over quite a bit to work on, help paint and spackle some things here and there. So he was going, today they were going to go to the apartment, and with everybody's SUVs, they were going to try to load them up and make a trip or two to the house. And he comes upstairs and says, we have a problem. I'm like, now what? Our water heater is leaking. Okay. So the hot water is turned off. I took my shower right away before he turned it off on me. I took my shower and then he turned it off. So now every time I go to wash my hands and I put on both, all I'm getting is cold water. But that's okay. It'll, these are things that happen when you own a house, and they have to be taken care of. But because he's involved with James today, and so it's on hold for a couple of days, but we'll survive this. It's fine. Okay, I just wanted to say, somebody asked about my project bags, and these bags were purchased through Amazon, and I wrote down they are 11 by 15, and they zipped. And when I purchased them, they were 10 for $9.99, so 10 for $10. And I remember I think I bought 40 of them. at different times, like 20 and then 20 again, because I filled them up so quickly. So, so that's where I got those. They used to be that price. Then once I checked, when somebody else asked me, they were $11.99. And I forgot, I did look it up, but the brain doesn't retain like it used to. I don't remember if it was $13.99, but I did get them through Amazon. The tag on them, it says YOUBIDA, Ubida, but I don't remember. I mean, I think if you put it in there, zippered vinyl bags, they'll come up, and that's how I ordered them. One more tip. I purchased Aida in a sleeve, and you know that you can stand it up. I think I got this at Michael's. It was 16-count Aida, and sometimes you want to do things on Aida, so I purchased it, and it was really stiff, and I was like, I'm going to wash it. So I washed it, and look how soft it is. So don't be afraid to wash, especially new people who haven't done this. Wash, see, like I didn't serge the edges. Well, I would zigzag them, but I didn't cut them off. I wanted to show you that I really washed it, and it took out all the sizing. And since I stitch in a hoop or a Q-snap, usually a Q-snap depending on the size of the project, but since I do that, this is very pliable now. So another tip for those that are, I guess, fairly newer to cross stitching, because most of you give me the tips. Alrighty, let's see. One more thing I wanted. We had a Stitchy Friend gift exchange, and we did it on a Saturday night. We planned it ahead of time, of course. We were given somebody's name ahead of time, and we planned stitching something for them, and then somebody stitches something for you, and it goes around. So Teresa, who has a website called Favors With Flair, she had me, and she stitched. Now, you had an option of leaving it open and having anybody stitch what they want, or you can pick a theme, winter, Christmas, Valentine's Day. And since I don't have too much fall in stitching, I had requested fall. So this is what Teresa stitched for me. And when I opened it, I was like, oh, because it almost looks like a painting. Look how beautiful. She stitched it on black Aida, but it's gorgeous. I absolutely love it. She put a magnet here. And I had it out all Christmas because it was a Christmas gift. And why not? It's so beautiful, and I love it. Thank you so much, Teresa. And Teresa has a shop, Favors With Flair. She did some measuring tapes she gave to everybody at the New Jersey Flosstube retreat. That was really nice. Okay, now, maybe most of you watch Michelle from mommalovesyougb, Michelle. She did a Vlogmas for Christmas, and she opened her Advent boxes and showed everything that she got. And she gave freebies out every single day from different people. And there was one that I really liked, and I liked the way she finished it because it was so different. And it was, I'm going to show you this from a distance, because this is part of my issue, is that sometimes, like, I would download a pattern and I can print it and it comes out fine. For some reason, this one I didn't know how to turn it. I didn't know how to adjust the size. So I only got partial of the pattern. And it was from, I wrote it down. Where did I write it down? I wrote it down on a piece of paper because I looked it up. Pinker and Pumpkin Blogspot. And it's also on Michelle's Flossmas Advent December 13th video. I'll write down both of them on the bottom if anybody's interested. But the way she finished it, she stitched it on 2 pieces of fabric, and she made this a pocket, and then instead of doing the tree, she left it blank. She did all the ivy around it, and then she put candy canes in it, which I thought was an awesome idea. So I don't know, maybe I'll fool around with it and see if I can get it to work. And maybe for next year I can have that done. I think it would be a nice gift for somebody. Okay, on to what I've been stitching. Okay. This is a Joan Elliot Joyful Snowman Stocking. And this is one of the pieces that I'm hoping for a 2021 finish. And what I did this time was I did the sash of ribbon and the star and this red section right here. And that's what I did, and the outlining of it. So the next time, I have this white stitched in, and I don't know if it shows on camera, but I think I'm going to maybe do the shoes and then maybe that star. But I'm hoping, so this one might come out, a few times during the year. I think I have it scheduled for a couple of months in a row in the winter now. The next one I picked up again because it was Christmas time, and even though I showed it in my last video, I did pick it up again to stitch on it because I stopped at this snowman motif because I ran out of the thread color. So I did order it on 1 2 3 stitch Thursday. And so I said I was going to try to do the reindeers to make sure they fit, because I worked all the way around and I want to make sure that it fit. And I finished the reindeer, and I just have to fill in the moon behind. I outlined it. I don't know if you can see it. And this is the whole piece. And this is also one that I'd like to finish in 2021. So in the next winter months now, I'll be picking this out again to stitch on. Some of these pieces I pulled out of the bag and ironed, and some of them I did not. The next one I worked on was his eye is on the sparrow. Now this is one that I will not be working on too often this year, but I'll pick it up occasionally, and this is what the pattern looks like. I know you all seen it a million times. I'm just behind on everything. And what I accomplished was the urn. Okay, I guess I got pretty much a lot done. I got this motif and the bird, so I had a page finish. The words were already done. Then I did that bird, that motif, this urn, and the words. And that's what I did in the last session. So basically 2 pages are finished. I'm not going to fill in this until I have a date, I guess, of when it was completed. And because this is so large, it will not be framed. It will most likely be a quilt hanging, wall hanging of some sort. So this will take me a couple of years to get done. I'm going to just do a little bit every couple of months and make progress on it. The next one is Autumn in the Village by Stoney Creek. I wish they had a bigger photograph of it because it's pretty. And I was working in this section here. There's if you can see, there's a scarecrow sitting on a bench there. I did not want to do the scarecrow. So I took it out, I made the bench, and I put a pumpkin on it. And I outlined that section of it. And so then I'll be working, I work up on the, I think this was the needlepoint house? No. Needlework house, yeah, it is. And then this is the whole piece. And then that brown on the side of the house here is another tree that will be over the house. So the house will get done first, and then I'll add the tree in. That's the whole piece. I ironed it and still has wrinkles because I folded it back to put it back in the bag. But I took some of them out. Okay, then I took out a frosted pumpkin, Once Upon a Time, and I worked on this block right here, Jack and the Beanstalk. And the next one that I'll probably pick up would be, I think this is the Princess and the Pea. And that's where it is. I'll move back so you can get it all in the frame. It's cute. It's a lot of, a couple of stitches in one color, a couple of stitches in another, so you're constantly snipping off and ending and starting. So it does take a little bit more time than blocks of color, which I always said I like working in blocks of color. The next one was the Drawn Thread Sunnyside Sampler. Now this is charted for NPI silks and dinky dyes. And I did not want to invest in silks. So and there wasn't really a conversion for it, but somebody said, go to the website. A lot of times they put the conversions there. Well, some of the conversions were worse there, some of them, but some of them weren't. And some of them then took you into hand-dyed threads. And I would have liked to do it all in DMC. But if I had the hand-dyed one, I used it. If not, I tried to, do the best that I can. I think it could have been a little bit more vibrant if I selected other colors, because I think that's what drew me to the picture. It seemed like the colors were more vibrant, and not thinking ahead of time. Like, I don't stitch in my stitching room. I stitch here very seldomly. And the threads are here. So if I'm downstairs and I already picked the colors of what they said or the best, and I'm not happy with it, I use it anyway. Sometimes I come up, but sometimes I just do it. I don't know, maybe it's my own fault, but here's mine. I did these two houses and the very, very minimum of the next one. And that's where this one is. I think it looks okay. But I think that's, lesson learned. When you buy a pattern, a lot of times, they have writing in the back of the details, but sometimes you have to open the pattern and really look inside to see what threads that they're using and if they have an alternate. Let's see. The next one is, I have trouble remembering, Cottage Garden Samplings. And it was Forever and Ever. And I started this last February for Valentine's Day, like love. So I picked it up and I started this flower. Basically, the flower has to be all filled in. I did all the outline, and the center section of the flower has to be filled in. So there's a lot to go on this as well. Is it going to be one of my wanting to finish in 2021? I don't think so. But, every time I pick it up, I make progress, and by making progress, I'll get it done. And then for New Year's Eve, for Once in a Blue Moon, I got out Once in a Blue Moon by the Calico Confectionery. And this is done on did I tell you everything? I didn't tell you the fabrics on them. I know people get angry with me that I don't tell you what I stitched everything on. This time I'll write it on the bottom because I really didn't tell you. I should have told you, and I apologize. This was on a 16 count shale by Picture This Plus. And I finished the pumpkin, I started the branch, and I worked in this corner. And this was only worked on for one day. Basically at night, I think. So hopefully in January, when I pick it up, I should be able to finish it. Okay. I got a little bit of haul, mostly fabrics. In the last video, I showed you a fabric that I said that it was gingerbread, and it actually said, I'm looking for a sample. It said, the one he sent me said gingerbread delight. So I thought that was the difference in it. So when I brought it back and I said, I don't know, it's a little bit too red, you know, and I brought him the sample of what I thought gingerbread was because I had it marked. But he said this was almond. So I never bought almond, but if he says it, he's the dyer, he knows what. So anyway, I got this piece. It's lighter, it's not as red, it's more brown. It's not exactly this, so I might just bring this to him and ask him to see if he can do something more like this. Okay, so I swapped that fabric out. And then I picked up, this was on the table and I really liked it. It's called Golden Harvest. Look how pretty that is. That's the size. It's an 18 by 26, so it's a little bit larger. But it's so pretty. And then I picked up some Aida. I picked up parchment, basically. Yep, parchment. And they were pieced 12 by 18, basically. Yep, all three are the same. Parchment, 18 count, 12 by 18 pieces of fabric. I figured for small charts and ornaments. And if I don't like how stiff it is, I'll wash it and see what happens. I purchased a sled. It has no name on it. But I picked up a sled. Eventually I'll pick up a pattern that I like to stitch for it for next year. And the pattern I bought was the Scarlet House Nice to Meet You, EWEU. And there's a little sheep there in the corner. So that's all the stitching that I have done. I don't know if you all enjoy seeing my planning or not. I looked up, somebody asked me once, they saw this hanging. They asked me, what is that? And basically, it's a chandelier. It's a little chandelier. I don't remember where I purchased. I think it was actually a Christmas ornament. But I liked it so much that I decided to hang it from the light up in my room. And I can't move the camera up any further because the light is on and it'll probably reflect it. But what I do when Caleb's in here is I spin it. And when he was tiny, he used to enjoy watching it because it would spin one way and then spin the other way. So it's a little chandelier that I keep up there. All right. For those that don't want to hear about planning, thank you for stopping by and visiting. Next video, I'll show you my new starts for January. I have 2 scheduled and then all the whips that I worked on. And I'll give you an update on what's been happening at the Chickalone house. Okay, anybody who stayed, I wrote this out big to show you what I have in a smaller version. And basically, it's the name of the pattern and then the months of the year. Starts in January, ends in December. DOC is date of completion, else. And then there's a CO. That means that I'd be carrying it to 2022 when we get down to there. What is going to be carried over and what isn't. So the beginning is very light because this pad is a sticky pad, like sticky notes. So this section of it has that sticky, it's not sticky here, but because it was touching it, it was hard to write on it. But as you can see, I had to use that space because I used almost every inch of this. And what I did was I charted this out and I wrote the first 17, the first 17 are what I carried over from 2020. And the last 3, did I start 3 or 4? The last 4 were new starts that I had December 1st, but technically they're a whip now because they were started. So I wrote those 17 down and then I started writing the ones I want to start this year in the order of the months that it's happening, except for one mistake. Of course, the one I wanted to start on my birthday in April ended up at the end because I skipped over it. And then what I do is I decide which ones I'm going to work on which months. So that's what these checks are. I plan to work on these particular ones on those checked months, and I'll put in 2 days. So if February has 28 days, I'm only going to pick 14 projects. And a month that has 31 days, I'll either work on a ornament that, like for just cross stitch group, or I don't know, haven't figured that one out yet. Or I'll work on something one day. I haven't decided, but yeah, I'll wing it. And then, okay, May, I'm just doing the ones that I'd like to get progress on, but it's very few because most of May is empty. And that's because I'm going to do Mania. And I think I had said I was going to do 11 new starts of ornaments, which would be 22 days. And then the rest, like Templar Prophecy, I definitely want to work on it because it's something that's not going to get done till next year, but I need to make progress on it every month. And I gave, because it's for my son and daughter-in-law, I showed it to him at Christmas, and he said, oh, that's a big piece. And he goes, when do you think I'll get it done? I said, 2022. And he said, really? He thought, 1, 2, 3, bang it out. But I want to enjoy the process. I want to enjoy it. I don't want to get tired of it. And I still enjoy working on it. So that's how I do my planning. Now, Jessie Marie is doing WIPCO, and I don't want to get into the details of that because she does a really wonderful explanation on a video that she put together about WIPCO. And technically, WIPCO is for WIPs that you have started, and you need 24 to 25 WIPCOs to put in a bingo board. So I could have tried it. I still may, but I don't know if it's the goal for the year that you write down, or is it the goal of the month? So I haven't decided on WIPCO yet, but it sounds like a great plan. And next year when I have a lot of WIPs, next year, in 2022, I'm hoping to not start any new starts, that's late plans, and work on my WIPs and get them down to 15. And then basically two days a month would be 30 days. And then as I get those down, like if I finish one for the 15 and it goes down 14, then I'll start one. And I think that'll keep me motivated, and all I have to do is worry about buying threads basically for the projects that I'm working on, because they are a lot. They're going to be 40, and I hope I can I don't know if I'm even going to get 10 done this year, but I'm going to look at this. I'm going to put a little star next to the ones that I'm going to hope for a finish, and let you know how my journey goes. So until next time, have a great month. I'll see you in about 2 weeks, and take care. Enjoy the new year. Stay well, stay safe, stay happy. Bye, guys.